What's something that's heavily outdated but you love using anyway, assuming you could, in theory, replace that thing? I still use the clock/radio/alarm that my mom got me in 8th grade because I kept sleeping in. I'm 37 and it is still the only alarm obnoxious enough to reliably wake me up. I'm 39 and realized this morning I've had my alarm clock since high school. I got one when I was 10. It woke me up for school through middle school, high school, college, moved with me across the country, over 7 cities. Until it died after 25 years of service. RIP digital alarm clock with built-in AM/FM radio tuner, with an alarm like a screaming siren. Thank God that obnoxious thing had a snooze button. Or not. A physical calculator, especially the adding machine variety with big numbers that make clicking noises. I work in supply chain and I use a physical calculator all the time. Granted it's my TI-84 from high school, but that thing is a necessity. I don't know why, but smartphone calculators suck imo. Even in horizontal mode, it is much less convenient than the calculator I used in school, which I still use to this day. With physical buttons I make less typos and also, it is much easier to do stuff with fractions or exponentials. The PS2 is pretty old now, but I still think it is brilliant. It had so many games, including one of my personal favorite PS2 games in The Simpsons Hit and Run. I would even go so far as to say that the PS2 is probably the best console ever made. The only one I can think of that can measure up is the SNES. It also had almost complete backwards compatibility with PS1 stuff, including the ability to read PS1 memory cards. So you could basically play any game from both the PS1 and PS2 eras on the PS2. Alarm clock. I figure most people just use the alarm on their phone and set it next to their pillow, but I like having one across the room. I can just look up at night and see the time and I have to physically get up and turn the alarm off, so I never worry about oversleeping. My $8 analog alarm clock is one of the best thing I've ever bought. I've never missed a class since I've started using it. I'm so frigging blind. I wish I could see an alarm clock across the room. I use my phone for alarms but really like having a visible clock when I'm sleeping. Handwriting diaries. I find that my hand gets tired easily now though. When I was 13 I used to maintain a personal diary. My younger sister found it somehow and read it out loud in front of my parents and some guests. I still can't bring myself to write on paper. I use Day One app on my phone now. It has Face ID password protecting. Measuring spoons my mom gave me when I went to college. I'm 61 years old. I bet they're metal. I hate the plastic ones that are sold today. The numbers wear off and they seem to get sticky, which is gross. I'm sure there are fancy ones I could buy, but I miss my mom's measuring spoons. This one is my favorite. Pre-war Singer sewing machine, got from a flea market. The only modern part is a small electric motor I installed on it. I'm also pretty sure that thing could survive atmospheric re-entry. Oh man, it must be beautiful. Yeah, do not let go of that beauty. The quality and beauty of those is what dreams are made of. Still dreaming of finding one for myself, but for now my 70s Full Metal Lotus will do, and that was also better quality for price than I can get with modern machines. Uneasy face. An actual calendar/planner. I don't know why I just don't feel like typing shit out on my smartphone. I'm just so used to decades of using planners to write down when I work what I have to do, birthdays, vacations, events, etc. Trying to get Alexa to add an appointment for next week turns into a goddamn 2-minute interview. Not gonna lie, the best part for me is having an excuse to buy colored gel pens and stickers. I much prefer a calendar book each year as opposed to using the calendar feature on my phone. I honestly feel like my planner is the safest place for my information these days. Plus you can look at the month and with color coding know what you need to do each week. However, on a smartphone you have to click each day to see what the dots refer to. They are color coded but I don't remember which doctor update is for. Not only do I use a paper calendar, I use the same every year. I print the pages myself and just added year 2022 to it. For now it covers 2019 to 2022. Nothing in the world compares to crossing a thing off a list with a pen. My 1940s Sunbeam Radiant Toaster. Found the Technology Connections guy. Are you? Technology Connections? Hi Alec. Automatic beyond belief, trademark. My grandparents bought one when they were married in 1951. It still works. I felt so proud after that Technology Connections video came out. Man, I've wanted one of those ever since that one Technology Connections episode. iPod Classic 120 gigs. I've got about 7,000 songs uploaded and about 3,000 of those songs were uploaded from CDs that I've owned from with span of about 15 years. I still use my iPod Nano 2nd Gen in the car, only has 4 GB but still holds a decent amount of songs, mostly old school hip hop. It is nice to have a piece of tech that was designed for one purpose only. Got an iPod from about 12 years ago that still works. It's an amazing relic from a time when Apple made things that were built to last. Such an amazing little machine. This is an excellent rectangle. Yes. I have the 160. My husband teases me because I still buy CDs to load onto it. I use it at work with Bose wired headphones. Best thing ever. I'm surprised I had to scroll this far to see this. There's just something different about having all your music, and nothing else, in one place. I love my iPod. I always hated the idea of using your cell phone to listen to music. My photos took up all the memory and my battery would die at 11 AM if I tried using my phone for music. Fuck that. I just wanna jam out and browse the web without a cross-contamination. Sometimes when I need to distress, I go for a walk with just my iPod and leave my phone at home. There's something to be said for physically distancing yourself from work, problems, anxiety, and just going out for an hour with only the music, and all of the music you love. An iPod is an iPhone that can only ever give you positive experiences. I used mine until about a year ago when it was stolen out of my car. Spotify just isn't the same. I mean, Dank Pods has proven time and time again that the OG iPods are still solid devices that still have use cases to this day. He explained the reason he carries one is because he is a musician and sometimes he needs to play music but can't afford to tie up his phone to do so. Paper sticky notes. I write thoughts down as they come to mind, and stick these things on the walls, on my car's dashboard, on the fridge, on my 6-year-old son, etc. As a business owner, I can confirm these are a godsend. I have sticky notes everywhere. Wait a few years and you can tell your son to remind you. I tell my 10-year-old to remind me of things and he reminds me every 15 minutes until I do the thing, straight face. My 6-year-old son. Do you have a carbon monoxide detector? Edit. In case you're not familiar with the famous Reddit story, here's the original post in legal advice. Be sure to read the top response CQVRDZ6/. And here's the update. I use and collect fountain pens since I was younger 25NOW. And I never enjoy using other writing utensils. Something about writing with fountain pens are so enjoyable for me that convenience doesn't matter. I went to grammar school in Germany and we used fountain pens. There is nothing like it. R/fountain pens. Came here just for this. Fountain pens will never go away, not until we have no need or want to write. I've used cheap fountain pens and my so gifted me a solid one, nothing expensive though, and it is always a dream to use it in soft, relaxed writing. It is also nice for my calligraphy and Japanese studies when writing kanji characters. They genuinely help me with my handwriting. I started using them 5 years ago and now I find I can't stand the feeling of ballpoint on paper. My Nintendo DS Lite. There's nothing wrong with the Switch, of course. People have used emulators to play the older Pokemon games but it doesn't feel the same as holding the console. Same here. I could technically afford a Switch but I just love the feeling of holding the DS in my hands. Disconnected from the internet and somehow feels like inner peace. DS battery life is a godsend too, if only the Switch battery could handle its games as well as the DS does. I recently started intermittently playing mine again after not touching it for 8 years. Gave it a battery charge and it fired right up.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.